At the gym today. Um, so today I'm going. It's Wednesday. At the gym today, and today my plan is to use something that I don't use very often, which is a barbell. Um, One of the main reasons I don't use a barbell very often is that I have a preference towards unilateral movements. So, where each hand moves or each side of the body can move freely in its own way, versus when it's a barbell, it's like both sides are moving at the same time. Um, but that doesn't mean there's no place for bilateral movements. And so today I want to do barbell complexes. So usually I do kettlebell, club bell, or dumbbell, or not dumbbell, kettlebell, or steel mace complexes when I used to, or when I, in my outdoor workouts and stuff, or I'll do the sled and something like that. Rarely ever. I mean, I have used the barbell in my videos, but just not very often. So yeah, today it's going to be barbell and kettlebell complexes, targeting the whole body. So one of the movements that I'm not very comfortable doing is overhead squats with the barbell, and so I wanted to challenge myself with some of those to start off. So for the first complex, going to do 5 uh, shoulder presses and then do 5 overhead squats. So looks like this. Going full range of motion. And then on the 5th one, going to hold it overhead and 5 overhead squats. I might look awkward doing this. It's because it is awkward for me. I'm not particularly comfortable in this position. Let's redo that rep. Yeah, it's not a move that I'm good at, but I want to get good at it. So, I don't know. I can do overhead kettlebell squats and stuff fairly well, but I'm not good at it with the barbell. Mostly because I don't, like, it's probably the 3rd time in my life that I've tried that movement. So the more I do it, the more I'll get used to it. In any case, with uh, a 30-pound kettlebell, going to do tactical snatch to windmill. So looks like this. Going for 5 on each side. With the tactical snatch to windmill, a lot of core involved. Uh, really opens up the chest and stuff too. Helps a lot with mobility and kind of fits the overhead theme of the initial set of movements. So yeah, I think the main reason I'm so uncomfortable with the overhead squat, like I said earlier, it's not a movement that I've done very often or at all in my life. And the other reason being I have like a certain kind of shoulder tightness. Like I'm pretty mobile, but like there is my right shoulder doesn't tend to move as smoothly as the left. And so when I'm in the overhead position, there seems to be like a slight tilt in the barbell, which then gets awkward on the hips, and I have to like descend into the squat in a very awkward, controlled manner. But yeah, my hope is as I do it more, it figures itself out. But yeah, this is what I'm doing for now. On to the next thing. Now that the overhead portion is done, I can go a little heavier. So, but not too heavy. It's all still complex form, and I'm focusing more on endurance than strength, I would say. Uh, but yeah, so for the next set of movements, I'm going to do 4 deadlifts, then 4 cleans, then 4 front squats for the barbell portion of things. So, looks like this. So, I have 135 pounds on the bar. So, 4 deadlifts, now 4 cleans. On the fourth one, I'm going to keep it in rack position and do 4 front squats. After that, with the 30-pound kettlebell, I'm going to do 6 snatches on each side. So, looks like this. Switching sides. So yeah, doing these movements for now, pretty exhausting by the end of things. I'm going to do 4 sets, maybe 5 of it, and yeah, then on to something else. For the next set of movements, doing staggered stance, barbell deadlifts for 5 on each side. So A staggered stance, also called kickstand stance, and I've also heard it being called B stance. I don't know what the B stands for, but I've heard it. It's when one leg is forward and the other leg is back. And what this allows me to do is like focus on one glute and hamstring at the same time. Plus, it's a good variation to do. So, doing 5 of those on each side, then going to do 5 Zercher squats. So, looks like this. So, 5. Switching sides. There's also more of a balance component and a core component, I would say, when the stance is staggered. Then getting the barbell into Zercher position. I just Zercher deadlifted up. But if you don't have the mobility for it, you can probably rack it somewhere and then get it. But, so I'm going to get my elbows under the bar. And then 5 squats. Then with the kettlebell, going to do, so I'm going to start off with a lateral clean. Once in rack position, I'm going to do an outside hand to hand swing into a snatch. So looks like this. So lateral clean, outside hand to hand swing to snatch. Then going to get into a lunge and do a kneeling windmill. Going to do this 3 times on each side. So many different muscle groups involved here and a lot of core. So yeah, doing these for 4 sets and then on to the next thing. Finishing off with some abs. So having 2 10-pound kettlebells around my feet, the handles of these kettlebells are good enough or are spaced in a way where it fits on my feet. If your kettlebells don't fit on your feet, you might have to find some other way of attaching a weight. In any case, I'm going to bring the kettlebells up with my knee bent, and then going to do alternate knee raises, really stretching out the lower abs and hip flexors. After 5 on each side, we're going to do 5 together without any weight. And by the end of that, the lower abs and hip flexor should feel pretty exhausted. And then finishing off with kettlebell halos. I hope I'm in frame. I don't know, I might not be in frame, but I'll just do it seated. But you can do the standing too, and I actually was doing it standing, but I suspect I might not be in frame, so I'm going to do it seated. So I'm going clockwise, then counterclockwise. Doing 8 on each. Oh, the act of, there's definitely a lot of shoulders and back involved in halos, but the act of shifting the weight around also requires your core to be very activated. And also, as it goes behind the head, there's weight trying to pull you back, and you have to keep your core tight so that you don't bend backwards. But yeah, this is going to be the final set of movements. Tomorrow is Jiu-Jitsu day again, so no video. Depending on... so I'm going to do the sauna after this. In the sauna, I usually do like ATG split squats and some other body weight stretches and mobility movements. I might do a physique update after this. If not, this is the end of the video. See you all in the next one.